the change. So yeah, so good recording it. This is good. So to me, like my grandson is getting married. I'll just give you my unique situation. My grandson's getting married in October, and I've been saving money for him. And with him is how he would want it to buy a house, and he's
Mhm.
going to look for a down payment. And right now we've got $15,000 in a CD, a 6% CD for, I think it's good. It was like a limited time CD. So we've
Yeah.
got that. And he needs about $60,000, which, so I'm just trying to scrape up, get together money for him to
Mhm.
buy a house. And I talked to him, how would you want to invest it? And so we talked about buying silver or gold or um, Bitcoin, or how does he feel about all? He's very conservative kind of guy, but he does he wants to invest some money in silver and maybe a little bit, one ounce of gold, and then so we'll see how much we're able to garner together.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, like I said, he wanted to buy a house like in 27, something like that. Would
Mhm.
that be a good time for him to buy a house?
I think that 2027 would be a wonderful time to buy a
Okay.
house. Yeah, and we'll know closer to the day.
Of course. Yeah.
It very well may happen within 2026. And I say that because I think that this year is going to be the the stage that gets set for the AI bubble.
What about Paul? I was thinking too that I would like him, if he's interested, to meet with you on your meetings. I don't know what the cost of the membership is, but if he's interested, I haven't asked him, but I just thought of it now, and he's young. He's like 35, so he's still got some brains left.
Yep.
He's still got GH, good
Yeah.
human growth hormone, and nitrous oxide, and a few things that really help.
Yeah.
Uh, so he's closer to your age. He was born in
His body
'81.
still produces testosterone.
Yes, he's got testosterone. He wants to, and he's just, of course, like any child, you see the potential and the big heart, and the um, and it's especially a grandmother, believe me.
Yeah.
You don't see the other things. They kind of like, are veiled to the
Right.
grandmothers. But I don't know if that would be appropriate, but maybe it's something that, if how do you talk to people about showing them what you, I mean, I would have him talk with you, see if he's just interested in doing that, period, and then have him talk with you, because he could be educated in that. I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah. What you'll find is like I don't charge for getting to know someone.
You
Like
start getting to know someone, getting to
no,
know
it's
you.
just like let's meet up, let's talk, like let's figure out what his goals are, and it's the Wild West out here. It really is. I
I
pride myself in being an explorer. I know a lot of the landscape, but it's a lot for me. It's really a top down view of the landscape. And I'm still like looking to the horizon because there's more land yet to explore. However, I'm very familiar with those first few steps that people are going to have to take no matter where they end up going. And as we take those steps, people's horizons start to evolve and shift in accordance to the trajectory they're already on.
Exactly, because they unfold like a plant,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
rose, a flower. They unfold. He's a
To-
musician, and he has he
oh,
has
okay.
he but he also is, like, he does gaming,
Yeah,
video, what are they called? Games,
yeah.
video games. he's done some of those, and he's worked with in a group with that. How about if I don't know how much is a year's. Judy paid that for us, didn't she? She gave us something. I'm not quite sure what it was. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know if you know that saying.
Mhm.
Too many questions. It's like, thank you. Thank you for doing that. But I would like to also see if he's interested in that. And I think a year is a if it's something that you would know if it's something, and he would know, of course, if it's
Yeah.
something that it would be the fit. And sometimes it's just not the right time, or it's not the right fit, or whatever. You
Yeah.
don't know. So, but I'd like to offer him that as kind of an education in the new world, if he's interested.
Yeah. You'd be welcome to use the link to book my time, like a VIP, like a good old. Because the private members, they get hour-long appointments.
Oh, okay.
If you're not a private member, it's just half an hour.
I see. Okay. All
But
right.
if you wanted to coordinate with him, you can share with him that VIP link.
Oh, okay. So why
He,
don't I do this? Why don't I check it out with him,
yeah,
he see if he's interested, and maybe have a talk with you just about what you do, and all that kind. He doesn't have a spiritual inclination like I do. That's not his interest, but you know, he is on his own path, but
yeah,
not as defined as mine.
right, yeah. Well, and I can steer clear of that because I know that for people that aren't inclined to that it can become kind of uncomfortable for them. And so I can steer clear of that. If you wanted to, uh, like when you're coordinating that with him, you can pick a time that you're available as well, so that you both can be present for it if you'd like.
Let me check with him. He may want me to be, and he may not want me to be.
Yeah,
Taurus is this very self-contained, but he's a Taurus Leo like you are. So I think you'll get along just fine. But Taurus is very self-contained, and he's very private. He's a very private person, and he doesn't say much, but he may talk a lot with you. But this
yeah,
is to me. uh, of course, he can't do anything wrong. I don't care. He could like break my arm, and it would still be, oh, thank you, John. I'm so glad
yeah,
we
yeah.
connect. Like, whatever that is. So good. What I'll do is but let me know ahead of time. I want to know if it's something I can do. How
Right.
much would membership be if I could pay for that?
There are 3 levels.
Okay.
The first level.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the first level is at
Okay.
the level you're at. That's $333 a year.
$333 a year. Oh, okay. All right. And what level? What is that? What does that
That
include?
is that doesn't include everything that you guys have.
Oh, okay.
That allows him to be a part of the conversation. He can join on the masterminds.
Oh,
He can be a part of anything that we do, like online, the hangouts, all that good stuff, masterminds. But what I'm not able to do at that level is coach them on how to bootstrap their business into into this renaissance.
okay. He doesn't have
That
a business.
Okay, so that's
Good.
probably all he needs. However, some people want to bootstrap a second business
Okay.
or their first business
Yeah.
because that first business that they start can actually invoice. It's not the right word.
Hmm.
The common vernacular would be invoice the citizen.
Oh,
And now you're taking money from the citizen and you're putting it into a trust. That is
that.
the same that setup is the same setup that I use for a business that wants to bootstrap their business into a parallel reality, similar to what we're doing with the butcher.
With the butcher?
Oh, right, you weren't there last night.
What was last night?
Yeah, yo, yeah.
What day? Oh, it's Monday night. Oh, okay.
Where are we? What world is
This
this?
is Tuesday. Okay, this is Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, last night with the Maui crew, we chatted lots about the digital ID and how my thoughts around it. And eventually, we got to the topic on the butcher that's local to me, who, we've been chatting back and forth for almost 5 months. Oh, I want to get my business in the private realm. And typically speaking, this ends up being where we start a small division. And that little division of his company ends up invoicing his company.
Oh, I
So
see.
now a portion of his company is kind of carved out of Canada and in the private realm. But in chatting with him on the weekend, we went there and gave him the outline of the plan. And he was just like kind of pushing me along, being like, well, can't I just sell my Canadian company to my wife and let it go bankrupt and start up the new one and just run that? And I was like, well, yeah, you can. Most people wanted to carve it piece by piece, but he's willing just to dive in. Well, the steps that I'm taking him through are the very same as if someone didn't have a company and wanted to stop paying taxes.
Oh,
Because it's done through corporate persons. You just have to create the corporate body that you would like to invoice the person. So that one's up to the 777 a year.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
And then
the
the last one, I definitely wouldn't recommend the last one, which would be like, okay, we're actually overhauling your company and I'll be working directly on it. I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm going to do it. And you're going to watch me in every single step so that you know how to do it.
That's so important, Paul.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that to have somebody do something for you, it doesn't make it yours. It exists outside. It needs to be inside. It needs
That's
to be
correct.
an inside job. I totally agree with that. And just because I want to know, how much is that one
That one starts at 4,500.
a year?
It's a one-time. It's a
Oh,
one-time
it's
like a
a,
contract. We're going to get this thing done probably over 3 months.
this is what I would like for John is, if he's interested, I mean, I would like something where I guess just actually what you're doing with us is coaching us, giving us a little bit of, and giving us what it's called for. Like you
Mm.
said, you listen to what the person, then the two of you, something is called for, their knowledge, or it's gonna go a certain way. Like for him just to be educated in market analysis, just like what you do is you take us through, and the words and the education and all that. And he's probably, because he's not too jaded, he could probably pick it up, or he's got room left in his brain. He could probably pick it up faster. I don't know. Just, I guess the 333 a year, we could start there, and because I can afford that, and then we could see what's needed out of
Yeah.
that. And if more is needed, then we could renegotiate so that.
And, yeah, and it's easy to upgrade. Like if he's 6 months through and he's like, "Ooh, I'd like to upgrade," we'll just take the amount that he's paid,
Yeah, and put it toward.
and
Yeah.
and prorate it towards the rest of the year, unless he wants to renew at that time with a fresh new year.
Well, I'm going to kind of feel it out and see if he needs to pay something, if he needs to be invested financially. So we'll see. I don't know yet what that's going to look like, but it's like to get an education just in digital ID and all of that. To me, I remember when he was learning to drive that I took him to a driving school because the school,
Mhm.
they didn't offer that at school. But I thought you need to know what's going on. You need to have a mental, education, not just practice driving. You need all of the bodies involved, and that was it just was good. It was good to do that. And plus,
Mm.
then we would practice with him, but he would have that general knowledge from somebody who was trained to do it. So that's what I feel like. Oh, this whole thing of being in the digital, you just get hearsay unless you're actually with somebody who knows the ropes. Then they
Right.
can share that with you. And then the actual implementing of it, like him to implement, buying some gold or silver, or I don't think he'd be able to buy gold, but he's a working stiff, and they're just
Yeah.
starting up. So he wants to go to Japan for his honeymoon, so he started that.
Yeah.
Anyways, and he's paying for his wedding all by himself. He didn't ask for any money from us. But how can I guess a grandma just doesn't want to see their kids suffer,
Right.
like
Oh, of
or
course.
or oh, here's a gift. Let me do this for you because I want to,
Yeah.
and he, oh, it's much appreciated. See, he's very, very few words, but I know he's grateful. Anyway, so let me talk to him. Oh, that's good. I never thought of that, but I really feel like everybody needs to be prepared with this, and they aren't given an education. And learning by your mistakes is wonderful, but even when you're trained, you learn by your mistakes. So
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not cut that down? And how do you operate? And I think you're a wonderful mentor and guide. So let me ask him and see what he feels about that.
Yeah.
And then for me, I've like, okay, I do have an injuncta, INJ,
Injected.
injected, that I have that,
Injected.
and I have ADA.
Yep.
I think I have those two. I don't have, and I don't know that I need any more. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to give him, I'm sorry, let me go back to the thread of we're trying to gather this money up for him to buy a
Mm.
house. What would be a good thing for him to invest in? And he suggested silver and maybe 1 ounce of gold, and that at least by that time there should be um, some. Hopefully, it will go up. I mean, there's always a chance that it won't, or maybe it will go down, or you just don't ever know really. But probably it will go up.
The
Um,
likelihood of gold continuing to rise over the next year is very high. 2
yeah,
years on the outside edge of my idea. Like I think that it's going to be a couple of years. The one thing to be mindful of is that gold will always keep its purchasing power. We don't really know what the price is going to be, but it'll be able to buy the same thing.
yes, and that whole thing of buying the suit,
Yeah.
yeah, that made it very real. And you're very
Mhm.
good at that. You're very good at making it real in my life, and oh yeah, the visual it's memorable. So yeah, okay, so the 1 ounce of gold, and then I know silver. Do you think silver would be good, or would crypto be better, or what are your thoughts on that?
That really determines the comfort level.
Yeah.
Really does. I mean, I know some people who jumped into crypto even like a year ago,
Mhm.
2 years ago. I was already coaching some people at the beginning of 2022 getting into cryptos. And they're down. They're down 30-40%. But they're okay because they know that this is a long game.
Yeah, that's
And
what it. So yeah.
yeah. And then there are some people who, last year they bought and literally 2 days later because they were down 5%, they panicked and sold,
Oh,
right? And I helped them out with that because the last thing I want is them to be losing sleep over whatever they did. You can't have that. The whole idea behind making investments is that you start to relax, right? So if it's not working, then it's not working. And for those people, I suggest silver.
mm.
and simply because of how undervalued it is.
Yeah.
Like it's so undervalued. What commodity out there other than, electronics, which you have to kind of catch within the first month of a company launching, what commodity out there goes 10x?
Yeah.
Very few,
Yeah.
right? And silver is a commodity because of how much utility the material has. That and for all of the manipulation on the price, it's like when that thing takes off, it's going to be a slingshot. And all of a sudden, right now, you need 100 pieces of silver to get 1 ounce
Gold. Yeah. Yeah.
gold. And all of a sudden, those 100 ounces of silver
Mhm.
will buy 10 ounces of gold.
Yeah. That's
Done.
I one question that I have thought of but never I don't know why the answer never asked it was, what are the consequences, like when, say, if I buy silver for John and then I give it to him, what are the tax consequences? That you have a tax consequence that's pretty clear in Bitcoin, right? And is it the same with all cryptos? Is it that clear because it's in the blockchain? There's a tax consequence. There's a time when you bought it and a time when you sell it, and there's a profit that's made.
So in that situation, two things. Number one, I would never bring back the whole amount that I sent over because there is a tax event that occurs when you bring it back from the exchange. So I would just never bring back the same amount I put in. I would take the profits and I'd go do something else with that, something that doesn't incur a tax event.
And what would that be?
Oh, I would find someone that has art or maybe some physical gold and silver that they would be willing to trade.
So
Let's
once you
as an
trade,
example.
well,
I'll,
yeah,
I'll give you an
yeah, give me,
example. You and me, we've got investments, and I don't want to cash out because if I cash out, I'm going to get a 58% capital gains tax because I'm in Canada.
oh my
But
God,
however, you have a $10,000 piece of art.
yeah.
Want it? I would negotiate with you probably $12,000 worth of crypto. And we could make the exchange right then and there. Now I'm getting that piece of art without me having to take my crypto, bring it into my bank account, and incur a tax event.
So from the crypto, so when you trade, because I did trade some ADA because I changed my method of bank, and would only let me have $200 to trade or something, like maybe not even that much, maybe $100 or something, because I changed the method. And then I traded ADA for Bitcoin, or I did it the other way around. I bought ADA with Bitcoin. That's what I did.
Okay.
And so there was no tax event, right? Because I did a trade.
Right.
Right? So now, say I take, um, but I stayed within the same exchange. So if I leave that, if I trade for something, how would I do that? How would I would trade to their name, or I don't know how to do. I'd like to do that at some point. Maybe one of
Yeah,
our sessions we could do that. Although I think other people may be interested in that same thing.
absolutely. Absolutely. But it would be wonderful for us to do that, even if it was one on one. Practice doing that. Make a fake transaction. Just be pretend, right? And we can even track, right? We can even track the gains and losses and calculate what the taxes would be.
That would be fabulous, because really what's going to happen, isn't it, in our life? We're going to have to know
Yeah.
how to do that. Like right now, I know how to take money out of my bank account, you know,
Mm.
what the tax event is going to be there, but there isn't one, right? Or there might be if I have it in a CD. So, you know,
Right.
something like that. So we'd know what are the consequences of moving that money and where you move it. And because I know when I was a social worker, it was always about knowing the rules so that you could
Yes.
then make the right decision because you knew what the
Mm.
consequences were going to be and you knew each decision that you made there was certain consequences that happened. And you know,
Yes.
it's just being like you said, what was that rule about the uninformed are,
Mhm.
I forget, say that again, about when you don't know, you don't, you're something. See, I haven't got it totally in my head. Say it again.
It is the awake, not the asleep, who the law assists.
Yes. And
Mhm.
it's a way. So there was something else that if you're not, you said it was in the negative.
Oh,
Um, if you don't know, there's no reason. There's not something where somebody has to educate you.
yes. Let the deceived be deceived.
Yes, that's
Yes.
what it is. Yeah, and so just that is like a really important thing to know to me in life. Period.
Yes.
And that's what the whole country is operating under.
Mhm.
There's no
Mhm.
obligation to undeceive me. You
That's
know.
correct. That's right. That's on you. It's
Yeah.
your self-responsibility to be
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah. That's a really critical, I think, uh, critical juncture point in this whole thing is that that is our responsibility. And how do we do that? But most of us don't even know that we don't know. You know, it's like, I don't know
Yeah.
what I
And,
don't know.
we have things like the unalienable right to a fair trial,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
However, we do not have the right to know how to conduct ourselves through the trial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like something's missing.
I know, right? What is missing? It's the self responsibility.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm going to trial. I guess I should probably learn something about the law so that it can assist me through it.
See, and we don't even connect those two.
Right.
We because of victim consciousness.
Hmm.
It's victim, like, oh, I'm just a victim. And I think that that's how we're educated anyway.
Yes.
Blah blah.
Of
I,
course, and that is perpetuated by Hollywood. I mean, look at how many movies are out there. When you go to court, it's a stressful situation.
yeah,
Whereas the way that we need to look at it is that if I'm going to court, this is a good thing. It means that I'm getting some justice. And if I'm wrong, I don't have a defense. And if I'm right, I don't need one.
you know, yeah. My sister always she was in property management, and she loved to go to court because she was always prepared.
Yeah.
He thought of things like, oh, if I went before a judge, what would I need? And
Right.
that's how she prepared herself. What kind of evidence? She's very bright, very good, very practical. I'm like, we're total opposites. Like, I'm totally impractical. Like, and
Yeah.
she's like down to earth. She knows what, and very, it, it, we are good. We learn from each other. We are good
Mhm.
balance. Come to appreciate her as I've gotten older. Okay, so let's look at what Cardano and Ada and
Yeah.
Cardano and like let's look at see what's going on.
Yeah. Let me just rearrange some of my screens here.
Whatever
There we
you
go.
want to do is fine, you know.
Here we are.
Okay, let
All
me
right.
put.
Now I'm using some color codes. I've got my algorithm running right now.
Yeah, okay.
So it gives me some color codes. Right now we can see that we're forming some lower lows. This is
Yeah.
a short time frame. This is showing us the like each of these bars, each of one of them represents 1 hour of price action.
Oh, okay.
So when we zoom out here, we can see I've actually got quite a few hours. In fact, we see this high point right here,
Hmm.
and I can measure how many hours that is very quickly. That's uh,
Wow.
291 hours. So over the last 291 hours, we have not been going up. In fact, even though this here is the highest it's been since back over here, we haven't gone above this. So this is a very long downward trend. And over the last little while, this is just over the last 75 hours, the price has done a considerable drop. In fact, that drop right now is about 10%.
I can't
So
see which one that is, Paul. I can't see I'm on a little screen, so what are we looking at right now? What?
this is ADA.
Ada. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
If you're ever watching my screen,
Yeah.
the asset is up here.
Right. I just can't see it. I should probably
Oh,
put glasses on.
okay.
I don't know. It's so small on this screen.
Yeah, the other thing is that I can bring the size up a little bit.
Oh yeah, there now I can see it a little better.
That's
Yeah.
a little bit easier to see. So yeah, right now we've got quite a bit of movement going down on ADA, and that's all right. I don't mind. In fact, the way that my positions are is that all of these rainbow lines here, these are different levels of support that I expect
Uh,
would create some like a reversal to the price, or there would be some hesitation for it to go down. So I have different levels marked because they've been significant levels in the past where the price seems to reverse around those lines. So what I've done is, seeing this trend, I've gone ahead and started creating sell orders, not buy orders. But I've started creating sell orders where I will exchange my ADA for US dollars.
okay.
That way, when the price goes down to the bottom, whatever that bottom is, I've got a bunch of US dollars that I can then buy a larger volume of ADA.
Yeah.
So right now, the way it is, I've got some positions ready to go so that if the price does come back up, I'll sell. But then as it goes down, especially once we get down to this level here, I've got some heavy buys.
Okay.
So between there, let's say for instance it goes down to this level. That's a 16% drop. The ADA that I'm selling now for Canadian dollars, I'll be able to get 16% more ADA when it gets down here.
Just let me just ask something in there.
Yeah.
Do you keep it in the exchange so it's ready to buy at any time, or do you keep that when you sell it to get US dollars? Then you're in US dollars in the exchange.
That's right.
So then,
That's right.
so you're keeping that money that you're doing this in the exchange, so you just can do this very quickly. You don't have to move it from a wallet and all of that kind of thing. Or
That's right.
so
That's right. It's instant, in fact.
it's instant because you've already put the sell order in.
That's right.
Okay. I'm not going to do that now, but I want to like start to like feed the
Yeah.
concept, flesh it out a little bit and see how you do it, and several times. And when I feel comfortable, it will talk to me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
will.
absolutely.
I won't have to. No, I'll just. So I mean, I don't have to do that. But at first, it may be uncomfortable, but I'll learn how to listen to myself in that. Okay.
Yeah. And you'll also find that the way that I talk, even though the style of trading that I do is usually it's called intraday trading. So my trades are only lasting maybe 2 or 3 days. That most people aren't going to do that. However, the way that I do it, the strategy and the approach that I use in analyzing the price action instead of the news gives me kind of an upper hand in the market, because when you're trying to trade the news, it's a lot more difficult to know exactly what's going to happen at any given moment. Whereas when I look at the pricing, when I look at the price action, I actually have a clearer idea of what's happening. See, during this time here, a lot of people thought, oh, this is it. We're in the alt season now. We're going up. But see, I look at this point here where, yeah, we went up from this point. Started going up, and it's higher now than it was down here. There's no question.
Mhm.
But when you look at the price action, you can see that this high point where everybody thought, yay, we're back in business, it didn't beat out this. It's lower than this one.
So you're waiting for that thing to go up higher than the last high before you buy. All right, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
You're
right. Before I
before you
go long.
before you go long. Okay, all right.
Yes. Because I'm buying. Every once in a while I buy. Like, especially if I'm buying down here, I'm buying. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going long. All it
means going long.
means that out of all of the coin that I have, whether it's ADA or USD, if I'm long, it's because I'm holding more ADA than USD.
Oh, okay.
But while the price is going up and down, like right now, I'm actually short. I'm shorting ADA, meaning that I'm holding more USD than I am ADA right now.
Okay.
Because I believe that the price is still going down. And the reason I believe that is because this high didn't beat this one.
Okay.
And in light of that, my target is for a test in this yellow line especially is likely going to be tested.
So that's what they're talking about, short and long. I didn't know the definition. You should have a glossary, Paul.
I should, eh?
I think it might be a good idea.
It would be good. Put that on the website, and then people can just go through and look up the words.
And give the examples, that you're good examples of what that looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be good. Because it's about educating and seeing it many times before it really is integrated into my thought patterns.
That's, I'm thinking about, and in my mind, I'm kind of building it in my head. Yeah, I think I know how I would do that to make it the most user-friendly.
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah, you're good at that explaining in simple understandable terms, that lay terms. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's because that's how I was taught.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I did not get a formal education in this at all.
Thank you for going through that, and this is a gift. Yeah, to the rest of us, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think that's called evolution. You know what? I have to go because I have to eat. But that's okay. Another appointment at noon. I have to
go too, so I'm glad that you mentioned it.
Thank you. This was wonderful. I love the combination, and always just getting another look at the graph. Just keep, just little by little, the graph having some meaning, and then you keep explaining, what you do, which then every time it goes a little deeper in understanding. And my husband just came home, so say hi, Ron. Say hi.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, I was just talking to Ron. Yeah, maybe give John this education. Yeah. Actually, everybody should have it. I'm really glad you're doing this.
I'm waiting for my gold.
Yeah.
Gold. He bought it on his own.
Good.
It's going to be his sole and separate property, which, I think that's life enhancing, to have that sense of, oh, this is mine. I'm responsible. Yeah.
It sure is. It sure is. And the more you do it, the more you exercise that, even to greater separation from what goes on within the state, you start to look at the state's work as less and less relevant to you. Because it's just like, oh, it doesn't affect me. It's like, we had an election where a full-on communist came on to be prime minister, and everybody around me is literally freaking out, and nothing changed for me. My future is completely unaffected by whose ass sits in the throne. That's power.
Oh,
that-
we all get beheaded.
Is that what
Yeah.
was that what Jen was talking about the other day?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi.
I'll leave you guys. I'm just ready to go have breakfast, but good to see you.
Nice to see
Yeah.
you too, Maureen.
Take good